We will not be deterred. We are, as South Africans, a resilient people, and we will not be bullied.
South Africa and Trump administration are clashing once again. Trump has frozen aid to South Africa, citing land reforms and the country's stance against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Is this just another case of U.S. interference in African affairs? Or is South Africa proving that it won't be pushed around? Let's break it all down. U.S.-South Africa relations have seen better days. Trump has just signed an order freezing aid to South Africa. His reasoning? He claims South Africa's land reform policies are violating people's rights, and has also lashed out at the country for taking Israel to the ICJ on genocide charges. Marco Rubio has even pulled out of the G20 summit in South Africa, showing just how tense things have become between the two nations. Trump is also offering to take in white South African farmers as refugees, which is strange given his hard stance on immigration elsewhere. So, what exactly is going on here? Let's rewind and look at South Africa's land reforms, the issue at the heart of the dispute. For those who don't know, land ownership in South Africa has been a hot issue for decades. Despite apartheid ending in 1994, most private farmland is still owned by white people. The new land reform law allows for the expropriation of land without compensation, but only under very specific conditions. Now, to be fair, these land reforms address historic injustice, and they ensure that there is more equitable land access. They also help economic transformation because they could empower historically marginalized communities. However, there are also cons to these land reforms. Some worry about corruption or abuse of the policy. Trump claims South Africa is confiscating land, but South African leaders insist this is misinformation.
By standing true to our values, by harnessing our unique strengths and endowments, and by forging a common purpose, we can turn these trying circumstances to our advantage and propel our country forward.
Let's not forget, U.S.-South Africa tensions didn't start today. The relationship between these two countries has been complicated for decades. Historically, the U.S. wasn't exactly a champion for South Africa's freedom struggle. During apartheid, the U.S. government actually had close ties with the racist regime, seeing it as a key ally against communism. Washington only really opposed the apartheid when global pressure became too much to ignore. South Africa has a long history of standing its ground, even when pressured by the USA. Unlike some other nations, South Africa isn't just sitting back and taking orders from Washington. It is a regional power with international influence. It's part of BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, a bloc that directly challenges US dominance. It's the most industrialized economy in Africa, with a powerful financial sector. It has a strong military presence and has led peacekeeping missions in Africa. It's standing up to global superpowers. South Africa's independent stance isn't new. Back in the 1990s, Nelson Mandela refused to denounce Muammar Gaddafi or the Palestinians, despite pressure from the US government.
One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies. We have our own struggle which we are conducting. We are grateful to the world for supporting our struggle. But nevertheless, we are an independent organization with its own policy. Our attitude towards any country is determined by the attitude of that country to our struggle. Colonel Gaddafi, Fidel Castro support our struggle to the hilt. There is no reason whatsoever why we should have any hesitation about hailing their commitment to human rights as they are being demanded in South Africa. Our attitude is based solely on the fact that they fully support the anti-apartheid struggle. They do not support it only in rhetoric. They are placing resources at our disposal.
This isn't just about land reform anymore. This is South Africa flexing its diplomatic muscle and the US not liking it. And here is where things get even more interesting. Elon Musk, the South African-born billionaire, is adding fuel to the fire, apparently. While South Africa is standing its ground internationally, let's be real, it has serious problems to deal with at home. Major issues in South Africa include economic struggles, such as load shedding, high unemployment, and corruption. There is also political instability at times. High crime rates and inequality are ripe in South Africa. If South Africa truly wants to maintain its position as a leading African power, it surely must fix these internal problems. So what does it all mean? Well, one thing is clear. South Africa isn't bowing to US pressure. Whether it's on land reform, Israel, or global politics, South Africa is making its own decisions. And Trump? He's clearly not happy about it. But here is a real question. Will the US continue to see South Africa as an ally? Or will these tensions push South Africa even closer to BRICS and other emerging powers? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love content about Africa, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. See you in the next episode.